with this structure, it's a trust, right? Who do you who owns the trust, and who's the beneficiary, and how does that work? Because if I'm a 40-year-old and I have some kids and I'm building a lot of wealth here, I want to set up my kids, but I also want to live a very comfortable life myself, and I want to have the option to just go dark and nobody ever hears from me again, and I don't ever have to lift a freaking finger. So how do we think through these things, and how do we pay ourselves or pay all of our expenses so that we could do whatever we want, and talk us through all that. How's that all work?
Okay. Yeah. So remember the nature of this. The nature is Ben has $10 million, of which he's the owner of the crypto. But instead of taking that and paying the tax of 3, he's going to transfer it to the trust in exchange for a promissory note. So Ben has become the lender. He's become the banker, right? It's known as a seller carryback. And the trust is going to sell it to the ultimate buyer and get the 10 million into the trust account. And here's the key. So you are not the owner. The reason you're not the owner, because if you just sold it to yourself, it'd be taxable, right? So Capital Gains Tax Solutions, my company, is the owner of the entity, which is a single entity business trust, by the way, that only does business with you, that never commingles the funds, right? That needs your approval to move everything, right? Okay. So that is the protections we have in place there. And you have what's called indirect control, but it's like a bank, right? If you were to go to loan for a bank, right, for your house, and then you say, hey, I'll put 10% down for a 30-year loan. Bank says, cool, Ben, you own the house, but you owe us the money, right? So make your payments every month. If you don't, we'll foreclose. Make sure you get fire insurance, Ben, or we're going to call your note due because we're not going to take that risk. So it's the biggest thing for people is understanding that you're changing your ownership hat to a lender hat. So by definition, the trust, the DST 1.0, you're not the beneficiary, you're not the owner, you're the secured lender, okay? Secured lender. And so, by the way, secured lenders have rights and protections and arguably even stronger than ownership, okay? Like banks aren't concerned, Ben, that you're not going to pay your mortgage because they'll just foreclose on the house. Like legally, that's what they do. So the same thing with this. You're not concerned that the trust isn't going to pay you back because you can just present the promissory note. That's what you're the owner of. You own a promissory note, and you can foreclose on the trust and take the assets, right? That the collateral has been secured against. Also, the funds aren't going to be moved without your signature. So you have those protections. Okay, so that's the first part. Now we have a DST 2.0, which is a little bit different. It's typically reserved for ultra high net worth, huge deals like 10, 20, $30 million and above. Now that one, your kids can be the beneficiaries, okay? Now certain things I can say and I can't say, because we got to get everyone like on NDAs, but that one's pretty cool, right? Because if you pass away and you're married and your spouse passes away, the kids can inherit it estate tax free, which is phenomenal, right? Because it's outside the taxable estate. Oh, by the way, on that 10 million that you exited with us, let's say, and you're in your 30s, right? And by the time you pass away, that 10 million grew to 70 million. In and out of all of these deals, different things. Also, all of that it can be outside your taxable estate. So you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, Brett. I'm building the foundation to make sure that the government, which by the way, wastes the money away faster than we could even, snap our fingers here, right?
Yep.
Is not with them and it's with our family, right? Without giving away to charity. So hopefully that answers the question there.